to you live from an upload speed of 1.17 megabytes per second. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
Welcome to the 161st episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. I'm Log Power Slave. As every week, I'm joined by none other than Lawmaster and failed download extraordinaire, Mylan Games.
How the fuck does my phone go off as soon as we go live?
It's just like a, it's just like a shit magnet. You know when you're in a bad mood and it just seems like you run into heaps more dickheads when you're in a bad mood? It's that thing again, but it's like when you've got to concentrate on one thing, everything fucking else goes wrong. That's just life, man. That's what it's all about.
You were a bit echoey there. Like, it sounded like I was getting a double.
You get
double voice, but
a double treatment.
But it was only when yeah, but it was only when you were yelling, I think. So I'm not.
Well,
too sure
I'll just not yell.
I don't know if people heard it on their end too or not.
Well, I hope not. We'll see. We'll find out, won't we?
Oh, sorry. Look. Well, you may have seen it's been a busy weekend. Well, actually, it was a busy weekend last weekend when I proposed to Danny. Surprise! You've probably seen the little video. But we went to Crown Towers, Buzzwood. The casino, the really nice new hotel they made at the casino. Spent way too much money.
That's unreal.
But we just thought, fuck it, We were drinking mojitos in the pool.
Well, you're only there once, man. You're only there once.
Yeah. And we're like,
you've got speakers on or something. That's you. You're the problem.
I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Is it coming through?
It's bouncing back from your side. I can see it. That's right. I've evolved to being able to see sound.
It's only coming through my headset. How is it? Is it coming through?
I don't know. Oh. I don't know, but now's not the time for troubleshooting. I'll just try and be a little bit more demure than normal.
Well, look, I did try to see if if we could live stream the wedding, and she said no.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a bad look. I don't know that's you don't want to get into that shit, man. That's a different kettle of fish. I think you've shared quite enough, actually. Like, you put a lot out there. I thought it was very sweet personally, and like I wasn't kidding when I said it's probably the most wholesome thing I've ever been involved in by any stretch of the imagination. But
I've never seen the word wholesome used so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the other thing is that I'm tagged into every fucking response because you put me in the tweet, and I went through the cycle along with everyone else. I was just reading every single reply. I took a particularly big shit yesterday morning, so I just wrote my own headcanon around the tweets that everyone was just, congratulations, mate. Yes.
You idiot.
Yeah, I know.
No, it was good. So we had a really lovely weekend at Crown Towers, and fucking beautiful room, spa, bloody pool, mojitos, cocktails from when we got there. Had the day off on Friday, so it's been nice. But I haven't thought once about doing any work. I didn't do any Tarkov videos today, and then we were thinking about, this is how I know Danny's the one for me. We're like, what should we do on like Sunday? And she was like, we should play Age of Empires 2. So we had a little LAN party set up with Age of Empires, which is why I'm still trying to download my law video for tomorrow and sort my thumbnails out, because I spent about 8 hours playing Age of Empires 2 today.
Well, I mean, it sounds well served though. Like you got to do these things when you've got the time to do them, and it's a special occasion, so you're allowed to treat yourself. As much as like YouTube never sleeps, and I know that stresses the shit out of you. It's one of those things. You just got to go on. You got to fucking concentrate on what's important and have a good time. So I'm glad that you've had a good weekend away because I don't know. I think you brought joy to people. Like I know that's a weird kind of thing to think about, especially for us.
Very weird.
But
yeah, because I almost wasn't going to post it, to be honest, because it was, I don't know. I never really share the stuff like that. So, but I'm glad a lot of people, it brightened their day. It was very wholesome. Like that was.
I just think it was basically just Billy. It was basically all Billy. It was all Billy. That fucking dog.
I fucking love that dog.
Have you actually got a hood for Billy? Have you got a hood? You need to get one.
No.
Is the canon now that Billy's a hunter? Is that?
Yeah, she's pretty fucking sneaky. She gets on the couch like a little assassin. When she's not meant to be on the fucking couch.
Well, I mean, you know what? Maybe that's just the way it is. Maybe that is just the way it is. I'm completely fine with Billy being a hunter. She's the only hunter I'll like, except Keg.
Well, Danny was a warlock and I was a titan, so it rounded out the book,
I was a fucking ghost.
Which Gamma Trap worked on for like 8 months, man. It was I think he actually hated it for a little bit.
Your proposal book, he hated it.
He was working day and night on it, and he obviously couldn't do other commissions. I mean, obviously I paid him for it, but he's so, what he's like. He's so used to rapid fire artwork. He's used to this, that, smash something out in a couple of days and then move on to the next project. But this was a big one. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get that. It was fun. I mean, I did my lines in about 15 minutes on Thursday night, so not everyone's upset about it. I was happy to do it. Whatever. Stop carrying on.
I'm not complaining. It was great. We all got to go back to work tomorrow, so the fucking all the excitement's over. Everyone go back to your normal fucking jobs.
This is
go back.
Yeah, it's hard like that. It's hard like that when you've got such special things going on in your life, but you've just got to go straight back to the grind. It's fucking garbage. But anyway.
And now it's like 1,000,001 questions about the wedding. And I said to Danny, I've done the hard work now, man. It's up to you. And she's like, fuck, no, you're not getting out of this.
I can tell you. Man. I'll tell you some tales. They're not podcast tales.
Oh, can we end of podcast tales?
No. I'll see what I can conjure up. We've got a bit to get through today. We've got a bit to get through because we're going to talk all of the TWAB, which is a whole heap of balance changes and stuff. So sort of how it's going to shape our life going forward and hopefully flip the meta a little bit. But then there's obviously the massive cutscene with the face-off between none other than Chicken Man and Robot Boy. I'm looking forward to picking your brain about that, actually.
Chicken right. Man. Well, you're going to have to pick hard because
I've been drinking fucking margaritas all weekend.
I've been drinking mojitos all weekend.
This is some kind of strange role reversal. Because normally I'm the drunk piece of shit and you're the relatively astute. What is that you're drinking? It's very colourful.
It's definitely not Euron. It's a Captain Morgan. And homemade ginger beer.
Beautiful. What, you made it yourself?
Mm. Yeah, Danny made the ginger beer, yeah.
Wow, that's made with love. Good.
You didn't expect that, did you?
No, I didn't. I was like homemade ginger beer that I bought from somewhere else.
No, actually homemade ginger beer.
All right, well, let's dive into it and talk about all the TWAB bullshit so we can talk about the cool lore stuff we're all dying to jump into. All right, so first up in the TWAB this week was a bit of an update on our fractaline stonks, fucking where we're at. So as of the 20th of February, we were at 6.7 billion fractaline donated. And the total donation left to get to open up whatever it is that's in the Crucible directory is 9.7 billion. 77777777777 So we're
There's a couple billion left.
Yeah, so there's a couple billion left. I'm not sure where we're at now. I mean, I don't think there's any way to like track it live, but it's man, it's one of those things whenever you see like, you know, like player numbers or time spent on an activity or whatever, that it just boggles your mind how long fucking how much time is actually consumed by the game. I think I saw through the week someone did like added up just how long people had spent just donating Fractaline, and it was like 9 years or something. just how long the cumulative donation button pushes had fucking it set people up for. It is so long, man. It is so long.
It's pretty nutty when you start looking at data like that. I mean, it's the same with like YouTube analytics and stuff. You know, you upload a video and the average person watches it for 8 minutes and you get like, you know, 50,000 views. You're like, I mean, you like start working out how many days and months it would be in like just straight time.
Budget it out
like,
in your head. At all times, someone is watching YouTube. I mean, it doesn't happen for me, obviously. It happens for Matt. Well, it's like, oh, wow, there's like 1 minute of engagement and then off a cliff. All right, so I'll go through. I'm going to read the bullet points that are associated with each of the changes in the balance update stuff. I don't need to reread you Bungie's fucking little synopsises on the whys and the wherefores of things, but they're basically pulling a few things back to the pack and raising a few things up, being auto rifles predominantly. But Izanagi's Burden was the first one that I found really interesting, and I'm kind of annoyed by this because I've only recently really pulled my finger out and gone and got it. But so basically the way that they're changing it is that the animation speed of putting a honed edge bullet into your gun is no longer affected by like anything that reduces the thing. So I imagine, the way I read it anyway, it's no longer affected by your reload cooldown. So it'll basically it'll take a fixed time, and I'm expecting that to be long, because when you reload Izanagi's without any perks, it takes, like, you could check your mail and shit in the time it takes to fucking reload. The other is that no distractions has replaced outlaw. Sorry. So I don't know. I mean, outlaws are what's that? Fucking reduce reload speed off a crit. Sniper's a crit. So it's gonna basically, they're just slowing down the reload wherever they can. I don't know. I think it's like,
I know nothing. I haven't had time to really think about this because I was doing other stuff.
It's another one of those nerfs, a bit like, remember when they brought Whisper back to the pack, when they kind of cut down on, like, I mean, they dumped its damage down, where this isn't reducing its damage, at least I don't know of. I mean, then again, they're doing stuff to snipers. So
well, I mean, technically, if you calculate damage as in damage over time,
damage
increasing so if you're increasing the time to reload, technically you're lowering its damage when it comes to DPS.
It'll be interesting to see whether that shakes up the meta, because it's kind of the gun that right now you just have to have, right? Like, if anyone who's serious about raid bosses is using it.
Yeah.
So I mean
this is
I
what's
understand
always
why they
been
come
happening
along
with, this has been happening with snipers all the time. Like Whisper was too strong, and then you got rid of that, and then had time for Izanagi's to sort of shine, and now they'll get rid of that, and I'm sure something else will come in.
Yeah, there'll be something else that's just as broken,
like,
or just slightly less broken than Izanagi's is right now, and they'll just move to that, and we won't really lose anything. We'll still be shredding through enemies, but who knows? Everyone has to lose their favorite gun for now. Most importantly to me, though, Lord of Wolves is getting a nerf. Release the Wolves now significantly reduces weapons accuracy while active. I'm hoping that Release the Wolves actually fires out of the gun backwards into the user. Is what I would be hoping for in that context. Fuck, that gun is overpowered, and they've already had one crack at nerfing it, and it didn't do enough, and now they're back for a second bite at the cherry. Just give it another fucking kick in the guts. Just keep kicking it until it's useless, please, because everyone hates it. I'm
go back to what it was before.
Just dump it down. Just dump it. Another strong crutch that you see a lot of in the Crucible is getting a kick in the pants. The Last Word on PC in particular. I do feel a little bit for the console players, because it's nowhere near as bad on console, but like on PC, it is fucking broken. It is incredibly broken. The amount of bullets you can fire and how quick you can fire them, it doesn't, and there's no damage fall off for how fast you fire. So it's like, I mean, we joke and call it a fucking primary LMG. So it's well in for a nerf. So fan fire impact values have been adjusted and now adjusts the precision scaler while hip firing. So it does less damage when you aim down sights, is what I'm reading. Aiming down sights no longer provides additional effective range, reduced stability for mouse and keyboard input, and reduced the effective range and adjusted the way target acquisition is handled while hip firing. So it sounds like they've just basically got in and knocked it down at every point they could. But into the interesting shit where we're lifting something up, auto rifles. Matt, you like auto rifles, don't you?
Yeah.
I like auto rifles. I was saying
I feel like auto rifles are very interesting.
I mean, they're kind of like the hand cannons non-interesting counterpart, because the only gun that gets used in Destiny at the moment is a fucking hand cannon. So maybe it's just me, but I'm absolutely screaming for something to come along and sort of shuffle everything. And hopefully with some of these buffs, we can see the auto rifles get into the sort of zone where they're at least, I don't know that I want any gun to be completely broken and dominant, but I'd like them to be a fucking heap stronger contender than they are now.
Do you like the sound of auto rifles in general?
No, they sound like something very sloppy. It's like a kind of thing.
Jesus, wouldn't have said that. Yeah, I think that's the thing for me. They don't have a good feel to them. They don't feel like
I used to love the
an
Uriels.
assault rifle.
Yeah, okay. Well, they're an auto rifle, so an assault rifle is more like your scout rifle, I suppose, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, let's just read
You know
the
what
stuff.
I mean? Like, but if you compare it to something like, and look, I only ever played Halo 1, but like that has a feel to it. There's a beefy feel to it. I feel like some of the auto rifles need a bit of, I don't know, bit of flair to them.
They're going through a bit of an identity crisis.
Yeah. Because the only thing that I really liked was Suros. I mean, when that sounded dope when that first came out, I was like, damn, I like this gun. And I still think it does sound pretty cool.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I can't even remember. The hard light's probably the exception to the rule, because it's like firing a disco at someone. It's beautiful. I love that gun. All right, we'll read through the notes and then we can talk about our silliness later. High impact frame impact values. Fucking hell, there's a lot of impact going on in that. High impact frame impact values have changed from 22 to 33, which is 22 body, 33 head, to 22 to the body, 35 precision. So basically, and that sort of, there's a 2.5 bump or two damage bump to each of the archetypes of each of them. So reading that, they're going to be more punishing in the head. So maybe that's just a little bit of an incentive to reward accurate players. But they kind of are in a bit of a middling range, right? Like they're a closer range sort of weapon than pulses or whatever. But they're kind of, I don't know that they're effective at a long enough range to be really replacing hand cannons.
What gun are we talking about?
Auto rifles. Still, I'm just rabbiting on. I'm dribbling on about auto rifles.
Because I started to drift because I just remembered the only thing I saw about this was the whole, is it 140 hand cannons or something? People were just saying there's two lots of hand cannons that no one's going to use.
Yeah, well, there's 150s now are the dominant, I think. Am I getting that right? And then there's the slower and faster firing ones that sit either side of that are just no one bothers to use. Like your old fashions and stuff. Just sit there. I mean, they do need attention. And like for the sake of variety, it'd be good to see them get some attention. But at the same time, like, I think the other weapons need some attention too, because there's fucking, how many other primary weapon types that aren't hand cannons? Like, sure, everyone loves hand cannons. It's kind of Destiny's thing. Like, they're kind of like the battle rifle was pretty iconic to Halo.
Yeah, they are like that. Yeah.
They're kind of all the hand cannons, that's why we've probably got fucking 40,000 exotic ones. So I think that they want the hand cannons to be strong. It is disappointing in that sense that they haven't done a whole lot to change up what the meta is. Even if they come back and like sort of made one of the archetypes a little bit more powerful than the others, then you'd see a whole suite of change in that people would be using completely different archetypes. You wouldn't see as many spare rats and all that sort of stuff as you do now, which you see like fucking 6 of them a game because everyone's wearing one. Fusion rifles, target acquisition now no longer accounts for precision locations. What does that mean?
Most of the time, I read this shit like.
Well, like I read through it. I read through it and like scan through it, and then I read through it on the podcast and try and make sense of it live in front of people, which is probably the highway to embarrassing myself and looking like a dumb cunt. But at the same time, I'll just live with it. I don't care. So if you're upset that I'm not understanding everything perfectly, cool.
Well, I mean, look, this is how I would flip it on its head. I'm like, do you know when you get a law entry and you flick it to it and like, man, and you go, I'll wait for someone to explain it to me? Well, that's what I do with everything else.
Yeah, but I don't have anything that I do good, so I'm just shit. I don't know. I laugh a lot. I guess that counts for something.
Evil Wench says it doesn't auto aim for the head.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay. So it no longer accounts for position location. So it'll be center of mass, I imagine. Damage fall off for this weapon archetype can now floor at 0.5. Okay. So the damage fall off is technically increased.
Yes. So you can't cross Matt Mabel with a fusion rifle, basically.
Oh, I think that'll probably still happen to some degree, but whatever. Effective range and impact of the optic stat for this weapon archetype has been reduced across the board. Okay, that's a pretty blanket nerf. Everything is a bit worse. Sorry, fusion rifle users. Backup plan adjusts impact to match rapid fire sub archetype while active, and charge time is set to. I don't use these guns, so I don't really care. But like they're getting nerfed. That's what you need to take out of it. Moving on to grenade launchers. Aggressive frame grenade launchers are now rapid fire frame grenade launchers. What? They've changed the name. Is that a nerf or a buff? Do we think changing the name of a? I want to know why. Why?
I think everyone understands we are not the best people to be.
Yeah, go and watch a fucking Aztec Rolls videos. What are you doing listening to this shit?
Why are you here? Why are you here? Let's just.
Look, we'll talk about shotguns because I actually fucking use them every now and then, maybe, and sniper rifles because they're important because everyone uses them. Shotties, target acquisition for non-slug shotguns no longer accounts for precision location. So it'll be center of mass again, much like the fusion rifles above. Cone angle adjusts per sub arc. What?
So how does that work functionally? So if you're aiming at someone, the aim assist is what?
It was dragging towards the head. It had actually more.
But do you still have a lot of that on mouse and keyboard?
I think there's still more than people realize.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I think there's still more than people realize. It'll be interesting to see if it makes a difference.
Aiming at the head.
No. If you're like aiming quickly at them, it'll preferentially for whatever reason aim you towards the head, but. That's not really the way it's meant to work because it's a fucking shotgun. You meant to hit them in the guts.
Is it going to take you off a headshot towards a body?
No.
Unintended?
I don't think so now. But like, why would you be trying to shoot someone in the head with a shotgun? It's a shotgun. I think that's kind of where these changes have come from because, you can be aiming at someone's head and miss, where if you were center of mass, you would hit them. And I think that's kind of the what they're trying to address is that there's been this sort of drag mechanic that's been there for a while that they're trying to nerf out of the thing, which I think is good. Back to the notes. Cone angle adjusts on a per sub-archetype basis and is no longer adjusted by the range stat. Right. So
Chad's helping me. Apparently, I guess, almost overcorrecting. Some of the pellets are going over the head because you're getting the auto aim on the head and then half your shells are going over the top.
Yeah. So I think it'll make them more deadly, slightly.
Oh, is that why I never hit any of my shots? It was the auto aim.
Yeah, same, Matt, same. I don't know how these pro guys do it. Aiming down sights no longer adjusts effective range for weapons of this archetype, or for this weapon archetype. So, more or less, you don't need it. You can just hip fire the living shit out of it. Happy days. And the meat and bones of this, sniper rifles, damage to major enemies and above has been reduced to pre-Shadowkeep values. They're dropping them down by 20% because snipers were the go-to DPS weapon at the moment. And I assume that that's an across-the-board thing, and Will Slug is an Argies. So I guess if you want that 20%, you just go get the catalyst. If you don't already have it, it will increase it, and then it will stay the same. But if
Can
not...
you imagine if, like, scout rifles became, like, your DPS?
Man, it would be cool. It would be fresh. Like, I don't know if I'm just falling back in my old ways of being an agent of chaos and wanting things to just happen and be random and shit. But I would really like it if we went back to the way it used to be a little bit more, where, you know, like, there was some really strong scout rifle metas. There was really strong auto rifle metas in both D1 and D2. Like the
I just remember using Vision of Confluence all
it
the
used
time.
to
I used
wreck.
to love that.
It used to wreck. It was strong. Probably the second, third season of Destiny 1, if we want to talk in seasons, that was strong then. It was something else. Adaptive Sniper's precision multiplier has been reduced from 3.25 to 2.95. So 0.3 you've lost there. And Rapid Fire Sniper's base impact has been reduced from 100 to 90. So if you're in that, the Rapid Fire Snipers will no longer headshot someone in the super, I think. So, I mean, if you're relying on that, if you're good enough to be consistently sniping people out of their supers, then it's going to be a problem for you, but that's not me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about PvP stuff. I mean, once again, I don't play it often enough to really comment on it, but I also feel like if someone's hitting a headshot whilst you're in your super, like, don't they deserve to get that? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but there are every other sniper rifle archetype that you could put on and still do it. So, you know,
So it's only just one of them.
It's just one archetype, the rapid fire ones that are like, they fire that quick that they're kind of like really heavy hitting, slow firing scout rifles. Like, right. They're strong in that sense. Good for follow up shots and whatnot. So I don't know. I mean, I still feel like there's a skill like move there to be able to snipe someone, especially I don't know. I mean, it's not that hard to snipe a fucking dong blade just floating around. But if you can snipe someone out of a bloody spectral blades or whatever, I think you deserve to kill them. So maybe there's something there in that. I don't know. Some supers are heaps more susceptible to being headshot because they move so fucking fast. That would be ideal. I would like that. As a slow moving Titan, I would like that. All right, well, that just about rounds off all of the interesting tidbits and nerfs and plus and minuses that are in the TWAB this week. So we can actually dive into what we really want to talk about now, and we can talk about the lore.
Yeah, I know. Now, here we go. And then, all right, my time to shine. I forgot to do my homework. No, here, hold on. Let me quiz you, because this is a hard thing, because sometimes I'm like, I have obviously some background knowledge of the lore, and when I hear stuff, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And other people were like, I didn't even think that it would be interesting to make a video about it. And we're like, you've got to make a video about this. I'm like, about what? But what? You need to be specific. Like, what piqued your interest? Like, okay, so we have Osiris coming in. And like, what did you want to know about that scene?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
know.
going to pretend you're all of Twitter.
Okay, all right. So I think people's interest is piqued by the fact that you've got two prominent sort of allies that we've had in the past. And one of them is basically, well, I'm not sure if you'd say threatening, but basically coming in, storming into someone else's, I don't know, I'm just going to pretend that that's Rasputin's bedroom, like banging through the door going, what are you doing? Whose side are you on? You know, like, I'm kind of, well, first of all, why has Osiris done that? Is he just flipped his fucking lid. What's he seen? What's the deal? You know, like we there is that whole thing that they released at the start of this season that was about him seeing the vision of something in the Traveler's place and hanging over where the last city was, and it's no longer there. And I'm assuming that I think everyone assumed at the time that was the darkness, or something like a pyramid or whatever. But now it's starting to feel like maybe that was linked in. I don't know. I think that's people are confused and scared, Matt. They want you to fucking clear it up for them. That's more or less where we are.
Okay. People are confused. Yeah, let me break it down. I think the first thing that I think is surprising is you said something like, "Hey, old man," or whatever, which seems to be a very common Osiris saying. I'm pretty sure he said that to someone else too. The whole idea of like personifying Rasputin, I don't think it's Osiris hinting at he knew Rasputin or Rasputin was a human before he was a robot or anything like that, because we've got tons of lore on Rasputin's history. Unless they're going to introduce something else, he was always a robot. He started off as AI. His initial program was actually on Jacob Hardy's ship, which was their explorer to go make first contact with the Traveler. Then Clovis Bray took the technology. Anna Bray, not Anna Bray. Who's in Warmind Campaign? Anna Bray, whatever. Yep. She was the one who programmed him, gave him like books to read, like the AI itself, and made it more human. So I think the idea of like personifying Rasputin is just, about that. He's called Old Man in a D1 Grimoire card. Interesting. I don't know which one that is. You have to see if you can find it for me, and we'll bring it up.
It's a bit rich of Osiris, given that Osiris is one of the few heavily grey characters. He's completely bald, so you can't go around throwing bolts, calling people old man.
Yeah.
And listen, is Rasputin his dad?
No. Don't get me angry.
I'm trying.
Right?
Sorry, man. I can't help myself.
And then I think the next part is, what does he say? Like, he basically says you're a bully. What is he? Does he call him a murderer?
You're a murderer, a Tharga murderer, and a betrayer.
Right. I think this is a direct reference to the new law, because I think this was probably written at the same time. Just think about how Bungie writes stuff quite far in advance. And I made a video called Rasputin's Exo Goons. Actually, that was my internal title, my Word document. But basically, it's the Kraken Mare law that the book Kraken Mare that they released, and it's got these exos that were controlled by Rasputin during the collapse. What are you laughing about?
I can't know.
Are you laughing at crack? Because I said
I'm
crack.
laughing at Kraken Mare because I can't think of two bogan blokes talking about a racehorse. Oh, she's a Kraken Mare, mate. She's. I would have said Mare. I don't know why, but I would have.
It could be Mara. I don't know. Kraken.
I mean, you can't pronounce Osiris, right? So fuck us. What else you've got going on?
Don't get me started on the. What I don't say I say Osiris apparently, or maybe I do. Osiris.
Osiris.
I probably mumble the first part like
we're Australian. We say things weird.
Yeah, get
Deal
over
with
it. Yeah, that was a real comment, by the way. This was how it was. I hate how you say Osiris. Mate, you just see me say Rahul.
Kabir,
Kabir. Anywho, look, there is a bunch of exos, and they pretty much go to Titan, the planet, to recover data on orders from Rasputin. And they basically are allowed to kill people on his orders. So he's taking control. And the direct quote from one of the exos called Morgan 2 is this. All human beings are assumed dead without protective action. The war minds are now acting to maximize survival, not to minimize harm. Death is cheap, the garden's on fire, and it's a race to save whatever we can. So it is pretty much in line with what we knew about Rasputin, which was it is about maximizing humanity's survival, and it doesn't matter about the individual death because we got bigger fish to fry. And it's quite well emphasized in that Kraken. What did you say?
Murray.
Murray. You're an absolute drongo.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that is probably a reference to why Osiris was like, you're a murderer, because I think they probably did murder people on Rasputin's orders in order to maximize survival. And he did have like things called the civilization kill event and all this kind of stuff.
But like, really, you're talking about like events that happened during the collapse, right? Like
yes.
this. So literally, the whole solar system is going to shit, and his prime directive is to try and salvage something out of everything going to shit.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
Are we really gonna be cranking him for that?
I mean, this is destiny law often takes, well, like any writing, takes stuff from real life, and the whole concept here is during apocalypse. Or let's tone it down. During a war, your standards of what's good and bad changes.
Yeah.
Typical day to day, you don't go killing people. During war, you're allowed to kill people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to do the bad thing, right? Sometimes that's just part of it.
This is a commentary on the an apocalyptic, a humanity-ending event, and the real cool part about it is if we trusted humanity to an AI that doesn't have as many emotions to us, they will make the best decisions for us to survive, which would mean being a bit of a bully and being a bit of a murderer.
Yeah, I mean, that's it,
to
right?
get shit done.
Because like when people fall short in times of like distress like that, it's normally because they're overwrought with emotion, right? Like if you're seeing your whole planet dying, you're not really in your fucking the right frame of mind to be like cold and calculated about what you've got to be doing about it. So in that sense, having a nihilistic robot in charge of everything is probably the best way to be, right? So he's made bad calls. He's didn't he blow up a ship or something that there was information that had to be contained? Am I imagining?
Yeah. So that yes, you are.
So he definitely has killed innocent people, right? Like we can.
Oh yeah, that's the end of that story. So we actually don't know what was on that ship. We don't actually know what was on. So they send these exos to Titan to recover. We only know it's just sort of like data. I think there is a little bit of information on it. I think they had like data on what was happening during the collapse, like what they measured or something like that. And they didn't want to give it to this Exo Morgan. And so they smuggled the researcher off Titan onto a ship, and Rasputin just blew the whole ship up. And the ship was full of evacuees as well. It had like 300 or 400 people on it.
That's got to hurt. That's a bad day. But I mean,
yes, Shanice Pell. It sounds like one of your fucking stories. It sounds like in the back streets of New South Wales.
Shanice. I don't know. I'm not going anywhere near Pell though. We're leaving that the fuck alone. So right. So that's. Do you think? And this is I think the thing that I've seen debated a lot on Twitter is that Rasputin's approach to saving humanity has changed through the events of the Warmind campaign and his interaction with the darkness, right? Like there's that whole card about where he's referring to the darkness as the it, and he's basically saying that he's learning from it. He shed his coat, and everyone's basically saying that that's him shedding humanity and becoming alone so that he's fighting for himself. And being like the darkness that doesn't fight for anything but itself, and the opposite to the traveler that fights for everything else, or relies on everything else to fight for it.
Those cards initially, I think, could have gone. I think you're mixing up a couple different ones because Rasputin does refer. Rasputin does refer to the darkness as it, but the traveler does as well. And I think that initial card, when it was first written, people thought it was either the traveler or Rasputin, but we're pretty positive it's the traveler now, just because of other cards that have come out. And when it says like shed millions of selves, it was when the ghosts were born in it, and it went into like its.
All right, that's a completely different.
But Rasputin does do that. It's in one of the comic books. He talks about it and the darkness.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what confused that topic.
Yeah. Well, it's not like Bungie to muddy the waters around this sort of stuff. Is it? Okay. Right. What else? What else? Here's the big one. Here's the big one. Yeah. This is going to annoy you.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
You know what you did.
Did he shoot the traveler?
Yeah. This has been the Destiny fucking lore trigger for fucking how many years now.
Do you know why? People probably don't realize this. The reason why it's like that is because it was one of the first stories, I think, that really took off, that got a lot of people into the lore. I think if you went back and looked where there was big probably lore spikes when people really got into the story, one was Oryx and the Books of Sorrow.
Yeah,
and I think before that was probably Rasputin shooting the traveler, because it sat in the Grimoire cards forever and no one looked at it. Well, people did look at it, but didn't get much traction.
I'm trying to remember like how that kind of rolled out, because it's easy to look back now with a whole heap of information, but it really did seem that, isn't it? Dreams of Alpha Lupi, it sort of implies that.
You're mixing them up with the traveler again.
Yeah. No, but it's from the traveler's perspective. There's some, I don't know, man.
Aurora knives.
Yeah, the Aurora knives, and he talks about using Aurora knives.
Yes, no, you're right. Yeah,
I read a bit. I've been paying attention. I may have watched someone's video on it.
I'm currently looking at my very first video on Rasputin was 4 years ago. And which one? Rasputin never shot the traveler 2 years ago. There must be one before that said Rasputin did shoot the traveler.
So you've done a bit of flip-flopping on the subject then.
Mate, that's the only way to go with making lore videos. You get people thinking one way, then you just
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Let's just go the other way.
Hedge your bets.
That's how you get multiple. So the first one I wrote was December 17th, 2015. That was the first one about Rasputin. And the second one was April 30th, 2017. Almost at 3 years. Rasputin never shot the traveler.
Do you believe that? Do you actually think that that's the case? Because I saw your video and I think it's flimsy.
It's flimsy at best. It makes complete sense for the Rasputin to shoot the traveler. Complete sense.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Because sorry, I'll let you go on. This is your fucking.
Well, he would have known. I imagine, we knew about the Fallen. Well, did we? The Fallen sort of came at the same time, but Rasputin's probably like, he's gonna leave. Just like he left with the Fallen, the Whirlwind, so might as well take him down because it will force him to make a defensive reaction, which was the ghosts, and it worked. So
I'll tell you what I think. It makes
complete sense. I don't think they'll answer it though. I don't think they'll ever confirm it. I think they'll want it to be.
That was literally what I was going to say. I think there is not enough information either way for anyone to make a call right now, and I don't think there ever will be. Unless it is a big plot point, unless they, it's the speaker being a charlatan moment of the next coming DLC or season or whatever. I think that it's written deliberately ambiguous that you can't really know, because the only things that sort of point us in the direction that he didn't do it are just as speculative as that he did. So for mine, like when you look at it, something that's completely something that's completely driven to protect humanity, right? That's its only real directive, right? And then you put something that can protect humanity with him, and he knows it's gonna piss off. Of course he does it, right? It just adds up. But I don't know. The thing that I can't get my head around is how would Aldrin know? Like maybe it's just something that they've put in the law as like a nod to the fact the law community does its head in about it. But how would Aldrin know that an AI that's been dormant for his entire interaction with it had a directive written in it that it would shoot the traveler if it tried to leave if it hadn't shot the traveler?
A lot of the stuff in game or in the Grimoire cards is meant to somehow exist in game. So it's like, this is a ghost report. This is in the libraries of Ishtar Collective. This is records from Rasputin's logs. And I think those ones are from, the record keeping or the log record of Rasputin with all the protocols going through it. So, being the Awoken and stuff, I mean, he's just shit stirring basically. But I imagine he would come across that information.
So maybe he's read the same lore entries we have.
Spot on, mate.
All right, let's close out on the final question on this subject. Who wins in a fight between Rasputin and Osiris?
Well, I've made a video how powerful Osiris is.
I know.
He's I like that he's getting more airtime. It's really cool. Really good.
Actually, I lied. It was my second last question, but go
on. You have to remember though that Rasputin has like satellites.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm seeing. Like Osiris just trying to run away.
Laser beams.
I mean, Osiris just trying to get back to his fucking ship, and they're just being war sats, just boom, 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 fucking everywhere. And they'll be following you everywhere you go for the rest of your life, shot from the fucking surface of wherever he is, Mars.
Yeah, but then you just say that Osiris would know that outcome, that future would.
Yeah.
They're in a bit of a stalemate because technically both of them are not AI, but Rasputin can predict probabilities too.
Yeah.
Just like Osiris can predict the future by seeing different pathways. Rasputin would be like, oh, well, he'll probably like, so it's like this massive chess game, but they're both quite clever.
I just thought of something.
Yeah.
If Rasputin saw a path to the salvation of humanity by siding with the darkness, does he take it?
For humanity, like if he thinks the only way humanity will win is if we accept the darkness.
Yeah. Does he take it?
Well, yeah, if that's the only way.
That's a scary thought. Because, I mean, the other thing is that he doesn't see Guardians as humanity. He sees us as another thing entirely, like an annoying plaything of some other omnipotent sphere that floats around in the sky. So we're not his mates specifically, but I don't know. I just find the whole thing interesting. I really like Warmind for me was story-wise. I mean, obviously the Nokris stuff was a bit underwhelming and whatever, but the sort of seeing Rasputin at the end of that come full force and turn into this kind of like, I'm going to be the badass savior of humanity. And I've kind of been waiting for it to take the next step, but it kind of surprised me because, I mean, the other thing that really this has done is kind of like people have, and it was my knee-jerk reaction of like, holy shit, is this going to be like a Praxic Order Drifter thing where there's a quest where we're going to have to choose sides? And if so, who do you choose, Matty? I know you're a fucking Osiris fanboy, but are you going to...
I mean, they've been building up for some sort of side choosing forever now. And look, all that I can say is I hope that when they decide to finish Destiny, they just let everyone choose a side. And it doesn't matter if it's balanced or whatever. It's Dark Guardians versus Light Guardians in the Crucible. It's different powers, different abilities, and it's just this massive battle. And then Destiny's done. But of course, you have to try the dark side. Of course you would. Every person would be like, I could handle it. I wouldn't become evil. I'd be doing the right thing.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, because that's the thing. Like, I kind of like, I like Rasputin more than I like Osiris, and I'm completely biased. So if you see me tweet anything on the subject, just know that it comes from just complete and utter bias and no fact whatsoever. Please, just assume that. But I can't help but feel like Rasputin's a lot cooler than Osiris is, because Osiris has been a bit of a dick over the and Warmind was a heaps better DLC than Curse of Osiris. So if we're going off the strength of that, I think we should all side with Osiris. Don't you think?
I think Osiris is going to get his time in the sun a bit more, to be honest, and probably Rasputin too, because he didn't have a good run when he first started.
I think they're both due it, actually, and if that's the way they're going to run these seasons going forward, I think it's healthy in a way, because it goes back and pays credence to some of the stuff that was not quite as well delivered the first time around as it probably should have been. So I don't know. So who are you going to side with, man? We need to know. This is a fucking DDU civil war.
Yeah, no, Rasputin, for sure.
Oh, good. Oh, well, that's easy. We're all going to hell.
Fuck Osiris. Oh, he is a cool character, though. He's cool.
Yeah, I look forward to killing him with a war sat.
I mean, you know, Rasputin's safe, and you know, you want to take the risk. You want to be risky. This is the same reason I started with the Drifter, mate.
That was good. I like that. I mean, I've honestly been waiting for him to build back to that kind of thing, right? Like the choose a side, because it really didn't make any difference in game whether you chose the Praxic fucking order. Like, and for whatever reason, I chose bloody the Drifter, and he still calls me a fucking snitch anyway, even though I was sided with him. So
oh, really?
I was like, "What's your problem, you fucking dickhead?"
I think that whole scenario was a test, and the biggest piece of data they got from siding with the Drifter or siding with the Vanguard was how passionate people were about it and how much it added to the lore of the universe.
I think it's one of those things, and I think they miss it with without faction rallies in the game, right?
Yeah.
I thought faction rallies did an incredible job of giving like people just completely arbitrary bullshit to argue over. It's like people stop arguing about like, oh, fuck hunters, fuck titans, fuck warlocks or whatever, and it just becomes, oh, fucking new monarchy, fuck you, fucking dead orbit edgelord. You know, it just gives people like something that's based on nothing whatsoever to argue about, and we need that as a community because it takes our mind off the fucking important shit that we argue about, right? It's a bit of a fucking, we'll flip the switch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, if you've got any questions and stuff and you want to ask, please jump in the chat now and fire away, because we'll bring them up in a sec. But I don't know. I think that we're due that. It's been, what, the better part of a year now since Season of the Drifter, or has it been a year? It would nearly be a year, wouldn't it? I don't know. Dude,
all this shit just blurs together in my head.
My understanding of time is not that of an average human being. I don't know. I think we're due something like that. I do hope they bring back faction rallies too, because I think, you know, everyone loves something to argue about.
Well, if they did, they're gonna have to change a whole bunch of stuff, because, you know, Dead Orbit, the whole lore of the factions is that they were made, you know, post collapse. They were made as a way to unify civil war, and you know, that has this politics side to it, whereas, like, you know, the Traveler, Dead Orbit, the Traveler is not our savior. Like, this is a dead orbit, let's get off the planet. Traveler's revived now, you know, so you could argue that they're not, that faction probably should dissolve.
Well, I mean, do you line Future War Cult up with Osiris? Do you line Dead Orbit up with Rasputin, and do you line New Monarchy up with the current Vanguard that's kind of neither?
So you put New Monarchy with Marasov, then you've got 3 different narratives.
Oof. that's why you're here, Matty.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Oh, wait, they don't.
That's why they pay me I don't know. Let us know in chat right now. We're going to talk about this. This is just completely impromptu. But if we could have factions that basically were a cult that went to some in-game person that proved where the narrative would go, right? Because you know how they always kept track of who was supporting what and what did this. If we could directly in the game impact what was going to happen by who we chose to support and on what scale, would you be into it? I think I would. And I think I'd probably lose, unfortunately, because I'm a dead orbit. Always have been and always will be. So I hope that's fucking Rasputin. But I can't see everyone just wearing black. It'd be a bit grim around the tower. I think probably New Monarchy would win. Can we tie that? Can we tie Marasov to New Monarchy? How would that work? They want to put her on the throne.
New Monarchy's principle is that they have a supreme ruler, essentially. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't have that now. So, and they can't really tie with the Vanguard because they want to overthrow the Vanguard, right?
Yeah, but everyone could be like, New Monarchy would be like, Marasov is our leader. We elect her to rule civilization.
Ooh. Deep.
And then if you don't agree with that, you're obviously not in New Monarchy.
I mean, she's obviously going to have to get out of a fucking portal before they can do that. But
hey, Mara,
darling, let's get out the fucking portal.
come on,
love.
Out.
Back to the tower. Come on, pull your head in. All right, we'll bring up the question, the chat, and we can all have a convo about it. I think it's pretty good fucking launching point. All right, where have we got? Here we are from Zildjian. Have you got a secret labs chair, Matt? Damn you.
Look, Log knows how I feel about this.
That's why I asked.
It was a birthday present. And it was a very lovely gesture from my very good friends. However, I think gaming chairs are incredibly overpriced for what they offer. As someone who has a first-class honors degree in office ergonomics for adolescents, I can tell you that these chairs meet none of the criteria for what should make a good chair. The foam is shit. The adjustability is poor. There's no lumbar support. And my ass fucking hurts just sitting on it. At the very least, a chair should be comfortable to sit on.
I think we can cross it.
Is not good foam. As someone who has worked with intensive care patients in a hospital for seating, I can tell you that this foam is utter dog shit. I wanted to say this shit on Twitter so much, but it goes against my grain as like no point bashing a company. But we're in the end of the podcast now, so let's fucking. It's no good. These chairs are no good.
You've been a lot more venomous than I expected you to be, which is great. I think I've got you at a low moment.
Do you know why? Because I just looked over and my video download failed again. So I know.
Not again.
Look, right? Have you got? You don't have one, do you, Log?
No, I've got this. I'll show you mine. Mine's a Officeworks special. It's beautiful.
That would probably be better.
It fucking is better. I had a gaming chair. It was shit. I got rid of it and I bought this. And you know what? It's got a huge, big seat, big fucking cushiony bastard for my ass. It's great. Me and Etsy, you got him.
Here's a test, right? So the foam of a chair, it needs to like squish a bit because you want it, because the whole point of foam, right, well, on a chair is so your blood vessels don't get compressed from the pressure and your legs don't go fucking numb, right? There's no squishy in this chair.
Yeah.
It's just like
it's
leather.
Basically like sitting on a completely flat toilet. Right? Like,
yes.
It might as well be porcelain. Mine was the same. And you know what? The other thing mine had was like these side bits that were like not quite far enough apart, and they like pushed my legs together.
Yes.
And
yes.
Like, what the
they
fuck
have
is
these
that
little
about?
wings. Yes.
Why?
Also not good. Also no good. There is no ergonomic. I can tell you from someone who's done a literature review on ergonomics, there is not one fucking one article that says you should put these fucking wings on the edge of your seat to push people's legs together.
Mate, I mean, especially blokes, like we've got a bit going on down there, right? Like,
exactly.
I mean that,
So
you know,
much,
like
so
we're
much chair passion. I hide this from people because
we're carrying a bit of
everyone
pork
likes
too,
it.
so like I've got bigger legs than probably I'd like to, you know, tree trunk legs. If you had piss thin legs, you'd be fucking sweet. But dude, I don't know. I thought that was good.
What
I think that
started
was
off
insightful.
as a normal sort of question, I would highly recommend you don't buy a gaming chair. I think you can get something better. Actually, even Officeworks, I think Officeworks is just getting good now. I remember looking for chairs at Officeworks, and they still weren't that good. For some reason, like at the at Curtin University,
Yep.
or if you go to a workplace, like the supplier chairs are always fucking really good chairs. Because you know why? Because they
Yeah.
can't have people fucking getting workers' comp. Because I would instantly be on workers' comp from this chair, and everyone else would be too. So if you look
My
at
chair, I
proper,
basically went through and built as close to my work chair as I could for exactly that reason, and I'm pretty chuffed with it. Like you can go into Officeworks if you're in Australia, go into Officeworks and build a chair. They've got the build a chair thing and get all the expensive shit, and you'll pretty much be sweet because like it's heaps better than anything I've ever had, honestly. Yeah.
Oh, look, this makes sense. This is what Zilron said. It's because it's trying to make it look like a race car seat. And obviously, when you're in a fucking race car and you're flying around a fucking corner like on a 45-degree angle,
This would be bad. This would not be very good in a race car. It would be a bit shit. You'd come hurtling out the side of it, wouldn't it? You'd be fucked.
Exactly. Oh, makes no. You know what? It's the biggest scam that's ever happened in the gaming industry, and no one's ever spoken about it
Until now. Who knew?
until
It was
now.
us, the unlikely heroes. Fuck you, gaming chairs.
You look. If you ever see a gaming chair sponsored from me, you know I've been paid a lot of money.
Or it's like Herman Miller or some shit, like something fucking really good. Because there are good chairs out there, don't get us wrong. There are fucking exquisite chairs. But you will pay for them out the arse. They are fucking expensive. Go and throw your firstborn to the gods of the internet and you might get a Herman Miller. Come back. They're that expensive.
Right.
Well, anyway.
Next question.
Anyway, anyone got another question? Okay, all right. BK wants to know, okay, so if Osiris and Rasputin offered you a new chair, who would you trust to get it right? Rasputin, of course, because he's basically an employer, right? He is the company you work for, and he doesn't want any humans to die of scoliosis or whatever.
No, but like Rasputin would be the kind of person be like, if we give him a comfortable chair, the probability of him typing in, and getting a virus into my system or accidentally pressing the delete key on like some essential code that then takes down the whole Vanguard network is increased. So like, give him a shit chair. Like you never, I mean, that's the thing, right? You never know Rasputin's intentions. You ask him for a comfy chair, but you don't know if he really wants to give you a comfy chair.
Yeah, I get the feeling he might be like Rasputin might be a bit more like, in Russia, chair is chair. You just get a chair.
Just a
In Soviet
chair.
Russia, chair is chair. You just get like an outdoor furniture plastic chair. This one cannot get wet. It will endure the elements.
Are those white plastic chairs like uniquely Australian, or does every other country have them as well?
I don't know. I mean, did you notice that like sort of halfway through the 2000s they turned green and now they're all green, but they're like the same fucking mold, but now they're green. Oh man!
I just reckon they went through this. They just had everyone sitting around like, guys, we're losing stock. We need to do something. And then Barry in the corner was like,
make them green.
Make them green. Like, give this man a raise.
All right, we've got two problems. We've got no one's buying our shit plastic chairs. We've got a heap of green plastic sitting over in the corner. What are we going to do about it? That guy's a genius. He's the guy we need running, the CEO of the world. Let's get him on it. All right, someone please ask a fucking question not related to chairs. I can see Matty dying inside. Come on. All right, Nick, how long were you cooking up your proposal, Matty?
I'm pretty sure the book we started in like middle of last year. It was probably 8 months or something like that. Because obviously I had to write it and I had to describe it, and then Gamma Trap had to start drawing it and like storyboard it and get, you know, an idea of what's going to go on each page and what position, and that's going to make some sort of sense. So that took the longest. It took no time to print, you know, it only took like a couple of weeks to have it printed. Once, you know, Gamma Trap sends everything to it's ready to go. You just basically got to upload it to a website and have it printed out as a book. And then Harry, the ring was a very cheap, I guess. It was a Harry Potter ring.
Yeah, but that's Danny, man. Like that's you guys.
It was a Harry Potter Slytherin house. Actually, they couldn't call it House Slytherin because it was, you know, obviously copyrighted. So it was House of Snake ring. House of Snake.
You didn't even get official merch.
Don't tell her that.
You're gonna be the enemy, you stupid prick. House of Snack. Slither House.
Oh god. Oh fuck. Anyway, it took a while. And then so the last part of it obviously was I couldn't really put this in the video because I don't know, it was too convoluted to explain, but essentially, so that is Danny's favorite bookshop, and it's where she buys all the books from. He basically sort of specializes in fantasy, so he has like all the Witcher series there, and obviously Harry Potter and Name of the Wind is one of Danny's other favorite, or King Killer Chronicles, one of Danny's other favorite sort of series, which is really good. And that week, I was actually planning on doing it a couple of days ago because I had the weekend off, but last week he posted on Facebook, just got the Destiny Grimoire anthology in, and that's how long that took them to get it, like a supplier in Australia.
Wow.
So because volume 1 was on back order or something, so he only got 3 copies in, and Danny sent me the message. So I already had the book printed. It was just sitting on my shelf. I was like, oh, there's no point hiding it. It's more suspicious. I just had it on my shelf and just had the ring there too.
Hiding in plain sight.
Hiding in plain sight like a snake.
House of Snack.
House of Snack. And then Danny sent me the message saying, oh, my favorite bookshop's got your got the anthology in. I was like, we should go down there. That would be fun. Like after work, we'll go down and see, because, you know, it was her favorite shop and she's a massive book nerd, and it'll be like, I know she sort of hates me that I have my name in a book basically in her favorite bookshop. So I was like, yeah, let's go down and have a look.
Yeah, let's go down, darling. I'll sign a few of them. Just yeah.
That was the excuse. I rang up Stefan, who owns the bookshop. I said, got a couple of requests. Firstly, don't feel obliged because I don't expect you to, and I'm not that kind of person. But I did write the introduction on volume 1, and I helped curate it. And if you'd like me to sign it, I can. Or if people would like it signed, I can. Second thing, you know, I would like to propose to my girlfriend in your bookshop. And she said, yeah, sure. And he did the whole set it up. You know, I brought the book down the day before, gave it to him, and I said, just pile it in with other books and we'll find it. And, you know, you saw the rest in the video, and it was really nice. It was perfect.
I'll tell you what, old mate Nick said it just before, but the look on his face when you picked up the book to give to Danny, it was just this, like, I mean, thank fuck she was looking at the book. He's like,
because the funny thing is Danny knew something was up when she got it, obviously because of the cover and that.
Yeah.
But she said to me later, she's like, I couldn't start crying straight away because if it wasn't, I would just be crying in a bookshop.
Yeah.
So then she was like, I wasn't even reading it. She was like, I was just fucking, I had to get to the end because I knew the end would have like, will you marry me or not? So she's just like nodding her head, flicking through the pages, essentially pretending to read it until she got to the end. And then she said, I read the last line and thought, yes, it is. And then she read the last paragraph properly. And then, and, you couldn't see this. If you go back and watch the video, you'll see me look at the door like that as I got down on one knee. These two dudes walked in at the exact same moment. These two nerdy guys, and I had it in there. Well, obviously I'm nerd too, but yeah, it was just funny. They like waved to the bookshop owner as they came in.
Did they turn around and go?
Yeah.
I
always kept them in, but I thought, maybe they wouldn't want to be in the. I better take them out in case. I have an issue with being in there. So,
I mean, it would have been appropriate if they were in full-blown Destiny cosplay, but otherwise, not a great look.
Well, the day I went in, I must look like such a fucking dickhead. The day I went in, I was talking to the guy, and we were talking about the Witcher series because he just said, the supplier's changing the book cover, and everyone hates it. So I've just sent out a message, to everyone if you want to buy the whole set and have the same book cover, because I think that's a big deal for people who like books is, that they match on their bookshelf, which I definitely get.
Yep.
So this guy came in and bought, like, while we were talking about the proposal, someone came in. I was like, oh mate, serve him first. We can chat shit in a sec. Bought, the entire Witcher series. I was like, we're just talking about that. But he heard we were talking about Destiny as well. And he was like, because I don't know, Felicia, if you're listening, maybe we could do if we do something in Perth, it's a very small bookshop, but it'd be cool to do something lore-wise or book-wise or something Destiny-wise in the shop. And this random dude talking, I've got friends who play Destiny, so I end up giving him my Marlin Games business card.
Oh, but you carrying him around still? It's got your fucking full name on it, Matt. Contact me if anything comes up. You need a lore master.
Sub.
I mean, fair enough. You're heaps more professional about it. I've got him as well, and I'm like, who am I going to give a business card to?
I tell you what,
dipshit.
Mate, it actually has come up more often than you think.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but just randomly comes up when I'm talking to people and rather than try to explain, like, it's so awkward to explain, like, what do you do? I'm like, well, do you want the fake story that I tell everyone? I just say I'm a PhD student, or do you want what I really do, which is make YouTube videos and talk shit on the podcast?
Talk shit on a podcast. Just go buy rings from House of Snack. Just that's gonna live on. That needs to live on. All right. Has anyone else got any actual questions that we can answer? Is Danny's favorite character Darko Math Boy?
It's what?
I'm assuming he's meaning it's just a piss take on Draco Malfoy, but yeah.
Right.
Oh, all right. Well, actually, you know what? I'm telling a fib because I have given out a couple of cards, and we'll probably be able to tell not each other because we both already know quite clearly, but we'll be able to tell everyone next week why. And we can end the podcast on the biggest tease of all time that we've got news coming, and it's going to be good for everyone. So,
and I don't even know what this is. So
you do, Matt. You know perfectly well what it is.
Righto. I guess I do know.
Yeah, you do know. Well, you do know. All right. Well, yeah. Look, everyone's considerably peaked. What we're going to do right now is end the show. So I'm going to do the traditional sign out of if you're no matter where you're watching or listening to this podcast, we appreciate the living shit out of you. We have a lot of fun doing it, and we hope you have a lot of fun listening to it. So if there's anywhere that you can, give it a review or something, do so. I mean, be honest. Yeah, I don't want anyone.
I thought you were just going to say save your time.
Yeah, don't waste your time. Don't review it. Just give it.
If you review it, please just leave House of Snack 5 out of 5.
Yeah, please, if you're watching, no matter where you're watching this, just let me know that you're out there by writing nothing other than House of Snack. Please. Just let me know that you've made it to the end of the video and retained your sanity enough to punch into a keyboard, House of Snack. Thank you very much. All right, Matty. Where's the law going to find people this week? Eh? What do you know?
Well, the law will find you in in your favorite bookshop.
Oh.
House of Snack, or in the House of Snack,
or in the House of Snack. All right, okay, we can do that. All right. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'm finding someone to raid into. Fucking hell, there's a lot going on.
Oh, you want it longer?
Nah, it's good. That was totally great. So, see you next week.
Bye.
How are we 161 episodes into this garbage? And we seem to be getting worse. Anyway, see you.